Clearly I'm not Gwen Mitchell, Madam Mayor.
No, you don't even look like a Gwen Mitchell. But is that Gwen Mitchell with you?
My good wife has asked me to speak on our behalf.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right. Where's the maps first?
That one first?
Oh, they can go first, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Stay close.
All right, I will. Do you want me to sit
You sit
next?
there.
Yep.
Yep, thanks.
All right, and I can swap for you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, councillors. This submission is about a piece of land rurally zoned on the edge of the Cranford Basin. It's about a rating policy and the process around it. So the first bit of, and I've got some handouts here I can leave with you as well.
The arrows? If you want.
The first one is a cutting from a newspaper 10 years ago about exactly the same issue. And it's not all shown on the screen there, but I don't know if we can scroll down.
Yeah,
You can see councillors Condon and James were in the limelight at that stage, and this particular issue was overturned and the objection was sustained. So if we can move on to the next couple very quickly.
Okay.
Not quite in the order I wanted, but just to demonstrate the rural nature of the land that we, as part of our property. And the next one. Again, some cattle that we have on the property. These were taken, by the way, over the last week or so. This is deemed to be part of the Cranford Basin, but there's not a puddle to be seen. Next one. There should be some maps there as well.
Oh, maybe it's another one. Oh, have we gone through all those? Yep. Okay, hang on.
Two
We'll
photos.
go to the other one.
No.
No?
Should be some maps, but they're in the handout, so perhaps we just progress.
Okay, all right.
So this land has been the subject of correspondence with both the Planning Department and the Rates Department of Council. Under the RPS, the PC1 and various other mechanisms, a local group of residents have suggested many times that it's ideal for rezoning. It's the highest part of the Cranford Basin and close to all sorts of amenities, buses and other services, and the key activity centre of Northlands is only about 130 metres away. We understand the land was recently included in the LERP by Sarah, but was subsequently removed by council planning officers for whatever reason. When the city and central government are crying out for more land for housing, it seems a no-brainer, but obviously not to the council planners. Anyway, that's a district plan issue. It's highly frustrating, but we continue to pursue it. The issue in question today is whilst one department refuses to accept suitability for residential use, concurrently another department seems to think that it is residential and is attempting to charge residential rates on this rural land. The Rates Department notified us of their intent to do this last year, subject to objections, based on greater than 30% of the land usage being used for non-residential purposes. This is clearly wrong, and a simple review of an aerial photograph will support our contention. The objection, which we were invited to make and made, was never acknowledged, never responded to, and we assumed that it had been upheld. Subsequently, however, our council unilaterally imposed a 22% increase in our rates. No notification, no communication. We are told that this is in breach of the Local Government Act. We also note there's been no underlying change to the zoning nor any substantial change to the capital value of the land. Recent correspondence from council officers attempts to justify the increase on the basis we now have sewer access. I can tell you that houses on the street have had sewer access since 1967, 47 years ago. Worse than this, and this is where it gets a bit gnarly, clearly the properties targeted have been cherry-picked from aerial photographs. Some neighbours have been targeted, others have not. One of our neighbours is scared witless about this particular session today and what it might cost them as a result. Neighbour against neighbour, divide and rule, no consistency whatsoever. The council officer acknowledges this fact and says he will undertake a review to address these inconsistencies. We're not holding our breath. The end result of this sorry saga is that the council policy is actually creating a virtual wasteland in this area. We have previously had a cut flower operation and a small Christmas tree farm, both pretty uneconomic but an attempt to use the land for rural purposes. And now we try to keep it tidy by grazing a few stock, but the land is not suited to cattle, despite the fact that we have it on them. We can't run sheep because of the risk of dog attacks so close to the city. We can't grow hay anymore because of fire risk. And we can't use contractors because they won't bring machinery down Papenhue Road into town for small lots. and we can't subdivide it. So I say it again, it's becoming a wasteland. Given all that, we clearly recognise Council's financial plight and we are happy to contribute our fair share. However, we ask you what is fair about an iniquitous, divisive and inconsistent approach that is underpinned by a lack of professionalism and blatant disdain for the common courtesies around communication and consultation. As you will have noticed from the handout, the objections to this process when they were last attempted in 2004 created furore and were upheld by the Council. It was described by landholders at that time as devious, divisive and ludicrous. Not our words, but we can't agree more. And by the way, we are aware that many of the landowners targeted at that time have not been targeted this time around, and we wonder why. We respectfully suggest that the previous rating regime remain in place until the Council completes its review, communicates the legal basis for that review and its outcome in a transparent manner, and that any subsequent decisions are made on a professional, cohesive and uniform basis after appropriate consultation. Alternatively, if you can convince your planners the land should be zoned residential, then ourselves and many others will be more than happy to pay a residential rate. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
My wife will answer any questions.
Yeah. I was actually just, while he was speaking, trying to find it on the LERP because, so you're saying that it was recast as residential in the draft LERP? But
my understanding is that exactly that. It was put in originally into one of the early versions of the LERP, but then was taken out by the council planners.
It's because, I mean, there was a process that preceded our election, so the LERP was all completed by the time we were elected. So I wasn't aware that there were earlier, I knew there was one draft that went out for public consultation. You're saying it was in there?
No, it was even prior to any public consultation.
Okay, so it never made it into the draft for public consultation. Did you submit that it should be included?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah. So we've been submitting on this land for different, as I say, different mechanisms for probably 5-10 years.
Have you submitted on the district plan review?
Yes, we have.
Oh, you have. Okay.
Yeah. And as I say, the rezoning issue is really a district plan issue. We understand that.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here is a rating issue and the iniquities and the process that have gone around it.
Well, I can't comment on that. Yanni?
Just interested to understand, have you been given any explanation as to why you've charged a rural rate, an urban residential rate when you're zoned rural? And I was interested to know, out of your neighbours, how many are in the rural zone but are paying urban rates?
Yes, we have been given some explanation. I have to say that the correspondence that comes back from council officers usually takes not weeks but months. It's been entirely frustrating. And our particular road of our adjacent neighbours, one has not been imposed with these particular rate premiums, and the next one down the road has.
Okay, well, because it's a specific issue around all of these things, the acting chief executive will undertake to follow that up, and she'll report back to us as well as you. So that means we know what the outcome was, so that we can get an answer quickly.
All I can say to you with that, last time around 10 years ago included, the Auruya Residents Association. There were people out past the airport that were also involved, and that was, as I say, it was overturned at the time. But I'm not too sure how wide it's gone this time. We've asked for that detail, but haven't been provided with it.
Okay, we'll follow it up and get it followed up. So thank you very much for your time and.
Thank you for your time. I have to say, in 35 years as a ratepayer in the city, we never felt as though we needed to do this. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can find a solution.
Thank you.
And our